Welcome everyone to the latest episode of Aperitif. Today we've got Sam and Andy from Open Restaurant Group. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And we're going to start as always with an aperitif. So very special bottle I brought for you guys today. Actually the first time this bottle has been opened in the UK. So a brand new producer of ours. So it's a producer called Arthur Lelevre. So it's from a village called Lude, which is a famous village in Champagne. Mainly famous by the Baresh brothers, which are a very well thought of grower champagne producer. So this is a guy I stumbled across a couple of years ago in Champagne. Young producer, similar age to me. This is his second ever release, and it's the first ever allocation to the UK. So very lucky that we got some wine of his. Only around 15,000 bottles made a year. So very small niche producer. And this, hopefully you like it, boys.
I don't say stumbled. What, literally stumbled?
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, we were pissed up, I think, when we had the conversation. Yeah, he gave me his Japanese allocation, so I stole it off Japan. So new producer to our portfolio in a cuvee called Premises, and we're going to be launching this wine in 2024. So enjoy, chaps. I'll pour you a glass, and then very quickly, you do your intro. So Sam, do you want to do a quick intro, then we'll pass over to Andy.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Sam Morgan. I suppose some people would say I'm the chief exec of Open Restaurant Group. Some people would probably say I was the admin boy, cleaner, payroll, everything else that kind of comes with it. I'm kind of the guy behind the scenes a little bit more than Andy.
Yeah, and obviously I'm Andy Sheridan. I am the chef, builder, painter, cleaner of Open Restaurant Group. I can also do the tills and pour wine as well. So I'm a bit of everything. But yeah, me and Sam, all rounders in restaurant.
Play boys, thanks for joining us. So yeah, we'll grab a glass and we'll have a little cheers, and then we'll get stuck in, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Keep it small, mate.
And producer Steve's got a glass as well. Cheers, producer Steve. Yeah. So if you can't see this podcast later because the cameras are all skewy, it's because Steve's had a nice glass. So
it's actually really good, isn't it? Beautiful. Very good.
It's quite appley.
Yeah, so super rich sort of ripe fruit. Yeah, green apple on the nose. Get those sort of red berries coming through. It's just really rich and vibrant.
Really good,
but not heavy. So when I'm not tasting it yet.
Still
light, still got that nice grippiness and acidity to it.
Get the cold and take it.
Super right. I'll bring you some next week. So yeah, beautiful. So thanks for joining us and thanks for sharing a glass. So really pleased to have you on the podcast, boys. So let's go back to 2019 where it all started, eh? So how did you two meet? How did can I call you a Cockney? Yeah. How did a Cockney and a Scouse for me? There's a joke.
Both banged up.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but
yes. No. So we met. I've been a chef now for 16 years, and I've worked everywhere from, working for decent chefs all around the country. I've been from Cornwall to the tip of Wales, the top of Wales to Birmingham to bloody everywhere you can think. And when we first met each other, I'd actually had enough of the industry. I'd done a Great British Menu in 2018 and 19. Everything was going really well. I moved down to Cornwall to open a lovely little place there by the beach, and it was going brilliant in the first year. And then I brought my whole team down there with me. What I've been really lucky about, ever since I was 21, 37 now, I've always worked with the same lads in the kitchen. Two identical twin brothers, so we've kind of like moved around together and stuff.
Nice.
And went down to Cornwall, opened this place, thought everything was going really well. Little did I know, well, I kind of did, but you don't really want to say it. The guy that I worked for was just a compulsive liar and an arsehole, basically. So when one of these people...
That wasn't me.
He was after. It kind of happens a lot in the industry, people, chefs get sold this dream a lot. Come and work down here, so the idea was that we were going to go into partnership and make this place amazing down there and stuff. And basically what happened was, cut a long story short, no tax, national insurance paid for all the staff for a year. You can imagine all these lads that have been working. So overnight, I'd basically just said, fuck this, don't want to be a chef anymore. And the whole team, we left, place closed down overnight. I moved back to Liverpool, moved in with my dad. He was living at his brother's at the time. I was sleeping on the couch in Birkenhead. Not a pot to piss in, didn't even own a car or anything. Moved back. And I got a phone call about 2 weeks later. But during this 2 weeks, I decided my dad's a painter and decorator. I was like, we'll open a company together.
Yep.
you know, I always used to labour for him when I was a kid, even though he used to bore the shit out of me. I thought, you know, I'll start this with you.
And you argue like,
Yeah, we argued like that. And I got a phone call off an agent, and he said, "Oh, I've got a guy that's really interested in speaking to you. He's got a restaurant in Birmingham that's not going very well. I mean, it looks like he's going to shut it down. Do you fancy it?" And I was like, "I'm not going to Birmingham." I was like, "Okay, I'm Scouser. So I'm not leaving down there, mate." So I've never even been. I said, "It's a shithole." And he said, "No, honestly, the guy's a really nice guy. He's from London and that." And he said he'll take you out for lunch. So I went, "Oh, where's he going to take me?" So he went, "Oh, there's a restaurant in Birmingham called O'Fean that's got a Michelin star." So, "Oh, yeah, all right, then I'll do that."
Right.
So
That's how you hooked it,
yeah,
then.
It's all about the sales.
at that point, I had to let my dad down and say, "This painting and decorating gig might be off, mate. I'm going to go down for it, and then he'll eventually get a job." So I obviously got the train down, met Sam and his wife, and we went for an amazing meal at O'Fean in Birmingham. And Sam and Emma told me the dream about their restaurant and how amazing it was. So I think they buttered me up because we sat in this lovely restaurant.
Yeah.
And they said, "We'll go to our restaurant now." So off we went, and it was in the ICC, the International Convention Centre in the middle of Birmingham. We walked through the 2 double doors, and all I can describe is it looked like fucking DFS inside. It was a shithole. So we went
It's
in.
a bit strong. I mean, DFS sofas are quite good.
It was the most oddly looking restaurant you've ever seen in your life. Loads of covers.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have had 3 coach parties in there. Loads of covers. You had a team of chefs that could have gone for 3 Michelin stars. And they're £500,000 worth of payroll in the kitchen. And they were lucky to be doing, 20 covers a week, if that.
Give or take.
The menu was like an encyclopedia of all food that Sam loved and the chef. So, you know,
Taken from various cookbooks.
various cookbooks. So we had bits of Tom Carriage inspiration for his cookbook in there and everything, and then the chefs. And it was kind of just a bit of a car crash. But one thing I did think while I was having dinner with them, I'd been shot on working down in Cornwall, and I felt like these two were the same thing was happening to Sam and Emma, because they'd employed these chefs to work with them, like I said, with a kitchen with ridiculously overstaffed, with £500,000 worth of payroll, and nobody gave a toss.
It was like the other way then. Yeah.
100%. And Sam wasn't from the industry.
Yeah.
And his wife wasn't from the industry. They invested in the restaurant, and the guy pulled out last minute, so they were left with it.
Right, okay.
So I kind of just felt like, "Oh, do you know what? I'll give it a go." So Sam said, "Listen, stick around for December." It was, end of November, beginning of December we were going into. And get through the Christmas period. So I called the guys that was in Cornwall with, and I said, "Do you fancy moving to Birmingham?" All said exactly the same thing. I couldn't bribe them with a meal because I didn't have a pot to piss in. But I said, "Listen, I think it could be all right."
Could afford that down to the tasting menu for you.
So, they moved down, and
They brought Stavros with them.
I said to Sam, I was like, "Listen, mate," I said, "I've got nowhere to live." I said, "I can't afford to live in there." I said, "I've got nothing." She said, "I'm moving with me and my wife." So I did. I moved down to Birmingham, lived in with Sam and Emma, which was...
That's how you became good friends.
Yeah, well, we no keys in the middle. I moved in with him and his wife anyway, and obviously
It was only a 1-bedroom.
yeah, 1 bedroom, full top.
Nice and cosy.
Yeah, no, he was off. No, the journey kind of started. We did that first month of December, and it kind of went from strength to strength. And then Sam will kind of touch on it. He rung me at the end of December. He's like, "Mate, we've made £1,500 profit this month," which wasn't bad considering they're losing over 40 grand a month for previously.
Yeah.
So
I was ecstatic with that. He was like, "What the hell?
£1,500? Oh, £1,500? They're working our arse off for this." But we kind of started to really, really build a reputation in the restaurant. I felt, from a restaurant that didn't have a decent reputation to, people were coming and like, "Oh, have you changed the chef? Has this changed?"
So how did you find it? How did you meet Andrew? How did you find Andrew?
So, I mean, where it all started, back in 2019 was I was a really good customer at restaurants.
Right.
And you know what that's like. You kind of think, well, surely it's simple to kind of open something that you kind of enjoy going to. And I wasn't from the industry. I'd been in other lines of business and been successful for that and plowed a load of money into opening a restaurant. And the truth of it was, there's a common theme here. Akhtar from O'Fean said to me, "The staff don't care me. They don't care about this place." And that's what hospitality is born on. It's born on people caring about it. And
So you staff didn't?
they didn't care. They didn't care. And the truth of it is, I didn't want to be there. So then I didn't care.
Right.
So
you've bought this restaurant as like a passion project, but actually, your love of it is...
and I built it. I'd been there every day with contractors building it. So I did care, but then I started to not care. And I didn't want to be there. And that's the truth there. I didn't want to be there, and I was fed up. And what Andy did was he brought that care back. So he cared about it, so I cared about it. And I could see that he cared about that restaurant. So therefore I felt he cared about me. So therefore I cared about him. And that's the philosophy of our relationship. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. We go at it together. We don't always agree on things. That's never been. It's not.
I mean, the start, you've got to remember, he was going from a guy that never worked in the industry to being shat on by all the chefs to then him and his wife trying to pick up the pieces of something that they didn't really know how to pick up the pieces. So, and menu-wise, they'd be like, oh, we'll offer loads because people need variety when they go to a restaurant, not realising that the more you have on the menu, you know, it's harder to execute when your menu's bigger. Not only that, it's a massive cost as well, holding all that stock, especially when you haven't got any customers coming in the door. So when I was like, mate, we need to cut this menu breakdown, I was like, 15 dishes max instead of flipping 60. I was like, well, can't do that. But we always had this like talk, debate, and then go, all right, let's try it. And little by little, we just noticed that, we got, on my first day there, all the chefs were like, we don't want to work with you. I was like, yes, I'll fuck off. And he's like, how are we going to run the restaurant? So I was like, well, mate, at the minute, we've got £500,000 worth of payroll on the books. And I said, we're lucky to take bloody £2,000 a week. I was like, so even if we did 10 covers a week with 3 chefs on the payroll, we're still going to make more money because we're not going to be losing as much in payroll. So that's kind of what we did, and we just plucked away, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
What was that, 3-4 months in?
Yeah, so obviously COVID kicked in March 2020, and we'd only just started in the back end of November 2019, and
it wasn't in Chester, sorry.
So it's Craft in Birmingham. But naturally brings its challenges. You've got a site that's costing you $250,000 a year in rent and rates. And, you kind of sit there thinking, how are we going to get through this COVID situation? Andy and I always kind of agreed on where we thought we should take the site, but we knew that was going to take time.
Yeah.
It was going to take time. But what COVID allowed us to do was fast forward those plans.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we're closed. Why sit around doing nothing, waiting for, the great unknown to arrive in COVID? Well, let's just get on with it. Lots of people kind of looked at us and thought, what the hell are they doing, investing into a site when we don't even know if we're going to be reopening or not? We throw a lot of caution to the wind, and I think, there's an element of luck.
Basically, as well, the way that Craft was, it was a massive unit, and we had 2 bars, and one of the bars just wasn't getting used.
Right.
So the idea during COVID was, it was like, we always wanted to do something that was a little bit different. Let's come up with a chef's table. But when I say a table, where the chefs physically actually cook directly in front of the customer, not one of these ones where they call it the chef's table and they walk out the kitchen and sit on the table. A chef's table is, you literally you can see what they're doing and what's happening in front of you. And there wasn't anything like that in Birmingham at the time.
Right, okay.
So we basically built a wall across one of the bars, and we designed.
So I sectioned it off and then clear back a second restaurant.
Put the kitchen in the centre of it. The whole thing was open. It had 16 cars
okay.
around it, and we decided to do a tasting menu.
And you built this on in lockdown?
Yeah, we built it during lockdown, but during
let's go for it.
during lockdown, we couldn't even just sit on our arse then. I was like, I'm getting bored because, we're waiting for contractors. We came in, designed all the restaurant, and then you obviously wait for all the things, the designs to come into play, and then people say, it's going to take a month to come and fit.
It was harder during COVID as well because people weren't producing materials and stuff like that.
So what we did was we bought an American airstream, and we decided to do taster menus like every Friday and Saturday night from Birmingham. But I was like, to pluck it up, we invited a different Michelin star chef on the airstream every week. And the reason that we did that is we thought that it's going to boost our profile.
Yeah, of course.
And then we'll do like these collaborations on the airstreams. We had like Gareth Ward on it from we had Aperitif,
Tom Shepherd,
Glimpenel,
Paul Foster.
Paul Foster came and did it with us.
All the best in the region, really.
Great laugh.
When it came to when we were opening the restaurant, when we came out of lockdown, on our opening night, it was like, we'll invite all these guys for a meal, and then the power of them coming for a meal and just, freak out. And, it's good because people go, where's this place? It's just opened, it's been locked down, and they've opened this, and all these chefs are going to eat there. So, we kind of noticed after a month of being open there and the restaurant was doing well, we had a beast that was next door doing 150 covers. We've opened a 16 cover restaurant, that's run by 2 chefs and 1 front of house, it's literally less than half of the payroll of the Beast. The average spend is higher than the Beast next door, and the overheads are lower. What we're spending on produce coming in is also lower. That 16 colour restaurant was making more profit than even 50 colour restaurant. So we're like, why the fuck are we killing ourselves doing a 150 colour restaurant?
Yep.
Trying to appeal to everybody. And when you do 150 covers, you're going to have margin of error on you. You have people coming in, all different walks of life, going, don't like this, don't like this, don't like that, don't like that. What we noticed from just doing 16 colours, but doing it really well, making sure the service was bang on, their ingredients we were getting were good, everything was cooked right, the wines we were using were good, and the environment looked amazing. We attracted a different clientele. We attracted foodies that loved to go for an experience, and it actually became no hassle. There was no on a Monday going, oh, Doris came in on Saturday and she complained because, you know, she didn't get the same napkin as Lillian on the table, and she asked for ice and she wanted Hendrick's gin, but you ran out of cucumber and all this, we didn't have it in the colour of the chairs and all that. So we were like, why are we doing this? This has got to be the right formula, obviously, because it can make more money. So then, where Sam lives is called Blackwell.
Yeah, so you've got Blackwell and Barn Green, 2 neighbouring villages.
Right.
They're classified as Worcestershire, but arguably people say it's sort of South Birmingham.
Yeah.
So it's approximately 45 minutes outside the city centre.
Right.
Affluent village, kind of renowned for footballers living there. And
Right.
like that. In the northwest, you'd probably say Audley Edges.
Yeah. Spot. I know exactly what you mean.
yeah.
So that.
Yeah. So we had that's the village that I live in, and what we realised was that following COVID, more people wanted to stay local, didn't want the shit fight, excuse the pun, of getting into Birmingham city centre.
Yeah.
The Birmingham City Council kept fucking with the road system, making it more and more difficult for you to want to go. People didn't want to go on the trains because the train service was shy, all that kind of stuff. So it was like, there's nothing in Worcestershire. There was never a Michelin star site in Worcestershire. Never has been. Arguably, people said Penson's was. I think that's probably more Herefordshire.
Yeah.
So arguably, if you wanted to go for a really good meal, where do you go? Well, Birmingham, or arguably Stratford upon Avon. So you know, but you're still looking an hour.
Yeah.
You're still looking an hour, and you're like, do they really want to do this? So we were always like, yeah, we should open somewhere in Barn Green. Problem is, premises are really difficult there, and we kind of stumbled on this deli. Everyone said to us, it's far too small to for a restaurant. Even my own wife was like, really, Sam? You're really going to put a restaurant in there? I think you've taken this one a little bit too far. I don't think you can get a restaurant in there. We're like, no, we can. We're using the principles of 8.
Yeah.
16 covers.
16 covers.
2 chefs, 1 front house, small restaurant. It was all about movement as well. So the larger the restaurant, the more steps staff have got to do. So you need more staff members.
McDonald's theory.
So our thing was, if we
yeah.
build a restaurant that's quite cosy and it's a little bit more intimate, a little bit smaller, we can't physically have any more staff, but there's going to be less steps for the staff to move to go towards the tables. Which, when we did Black and Green, that was perfect.
Yeah,
so the chef could actually cook and serve the food, and by the time he'd served the last plate of food, he could then go back and he'd start on his next course. So this restaurant, the way that it was designed for 16 people, it was also designed around the movement, because we were like, shit, they've already got any space to actually walk around. It's that small. So this really works. You feel like you sat in someone's kitchen, and they were sat right on a chef's counter. So we opened it. Like we said, within like the first 2 months of being open, we were in the Michelin Guide, and the restaurant's full, and we're like, well, this restaurant's doing as well as 8's doing. So what the fuck have we got craft for?
It's been open 2.5 years
So you still had craft.
Still had craft. Still had 8.
It's been open 2.5 years
now.
And we looked at the occupancy level over the last 2.5 years. It's been 98.4%.
Brilliant. Wow.
Like, yeah, barely
And what you
Taste the menu.
are you 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week?
No, 4 nights.
4 nights a week.
Plus a lunchtime.
Plus a lunch.
on
Yeah.
Right.
on
Saturday lunch.
Smashing it then.
is
Yeah, smashing it.
extremely well run, kind of no hassle restaurant.
So that concept from 8 then has become a little bit of a brainchild to then
but
develop
we took all
throughout.
sorts of little steps
Steps that people won't even see in the restaurant, which are
kind
kind
of
of
interesting. So
the space is quite small. It's like a living room. In
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
it was someone's living room many years ago.
And the kitchen is at the top end. There's a chef's bench there, and then the rest of the tables The tables are all positioned at slightly elevated east. So the table
Right.
at the back can see the chef's bench as much as the table
Ah,
at the front.
nice, clever.
Silly little
Details,
things
yeah.
like that.
And like little
all
things
add
like
up to how
built-in-
you feel about the space.
Yeah,
We've got like built-in bottle holders into the tables as well.
yeah.
So basically, we knew that we couldn't leave a bottle on the table because the tables
Less
wouldn't be big
space,
enough.
yeah.
So we built like little bottle holders into the
side,
tables,
yeah.
into the side of the tables, just for like space
Little
and stuff.
details that elevate everything, isn't
But
it?
then-
Yeah.
I mean, cut a long story short about craft, we decided when the landlord tried to like triple the rent after COVID and stuff, we were like, do you know what? We could have 5 or 6 restaurants for the price that they want to charge us for the rent on this building.
Yeah,
So we
'cause it's
literally,
middle of the city centre, massive
Yeah,
unit. They're going to try and
literally,
charge you whatever they want.
overnight, you know, like there was 3 Arctic wagons there. We ripped the whole site out, 8
Yeah.
included, and we then spent another like 2 months. We were like looking for places. We found 8 in Liverpool 2 months later on Cook
So
Street
you moved it from Birmingham
to
up to Liverpool, right?
which
okay.
which was amazing for us because at the time, you know, Birmingham's restaurant scene is you could go go to 10, 15 different restaurants for a tasting menu in Birmingham. In Liverpool, you couldn't.
Yeah. And arguably that fine dining pound is extremely stretched.
Because you've got so many places that are.
You know, Gillian Purnell was not wrong when he said, you know, the fine dining pound in Birmingham is stretched. You know, and arguably now, you know, O'Fean is the best restaurant in the region, and quite deservedly. And then, you know, everyone else is kind of vying for
Yeah, it's
the
difficult.
rest of the pounds,
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
they?
So when I was at Liverpool, I actually noticed there was like, there's not one restaurant in the city that is just tasting menu bun. Like, you've got great restaurants like Manifest in places like that that are offering like a la carte and a tasting
Yeah,
menu
yeah.
alongside it.
Yeah.
But you didn't have one that was just
pure
doing tasting menu.
And
you didn't have a
purely
chef's
experience
bench.
led.
You didn't have a chef's bench one. So what we never had in Birmingham was we didn't have a cocktail lounge. So Liverpool sat over 2 floors.
Ah, right,
So you've got
nice.
your main floor when you walk in, which is our cocktail lounge, which we built a kitchen, which is like a satellite kitchen up there where we serve customers the snacks and everything
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
walk
nice.
in, so they can watch us cook.
Clever, yeah.
And then we bring you downstairs to the 2 benches. And I was like, well, what? Instead of us building like an industrial kitchen like everybody's used to, we found this company over in Barcelona called TP Tech, and they build inductors into what looks like a countertop.
Ah, right,
So it's
okay.
completely seamless.
So it really is a chef's table.
Yeah, yeah.
then,
So
isn't it?
people
Yeah.
come down, they sit at what is their counter, and then all of a sudden the chef puts a
Hands on
pan
top.
at any
Class.
point on top
Nice.
of the counter, and it starts to heat up. And
Real
they're
nice
like,
experience, isn't it?
Back, you know, originally the basement that you kind of walk into used to be wine vaults.
Right, okay.
So it's kind of
it's cool.
it's
Got that feel anyway,
quirky.
Yeah,
before you
it's
come
cool. But
Yeah.
what's been good is ever since we did like a 8 in Birmingham, when we moved it to Liverpool, there was loads of things that we saved on. Like we started actually doing the sites ourselves,
Yeah.
like ripping them out
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah, fitting them out yourself, yeah. Why
You
not?
know, polished concrete in, watching stuff like that on
Well, yeah, by the time
YouTube
you've
and-
spent money on an architect
yeah,
and a design
you
and all
know,
that
kept my
sort of
dad
stuff.
in work for
Well,
his
there you
paint
go,
and decorating
paint and
business,
decorating. You
fucking
should have invested in
flying,
that business, right? You could have made your own money back.
flying. No,
So
yeah,
when's the next restaurant opening?
So
next week.
no, we started work on 8 in Liverpool, and then within the first month while we were getting 8 in Liverpool already, Fresh on the Wirral,
Yeah.
closed down, which used to have a Michelin star in
Yeah,
Oxton.
of course, yeah.
So that's like became available, and it so happened that the guy that
He's in black and white.
was doing the leasing stuff for us over in Liverpool site, he said, I've got the old Fresh site coming up.
Ah, right.
So
I always wondered what happened to that. I
Yeah.
didn't realise that was yours now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you've done with it.
So we literally were like, oh, sod it,
Right.
we'll get that one as well. So we're doing Liverpool up, and then Fresh comes up, and like, we'll have
So you
that
did
as
them at
well.
the same time, really,
Pretty
then,
much
yeah?
at the same time. So Liverpool opened in that month, and then the month after Oxford opened. So it was a month
right.
in between. And then we literally hit the ground running in Liverpool. We hardly did any social media because I was like bloody painting and
Yeah, too busy
nails
back
and
to
just
building
getting
stuff,
the
yeah.
restaurant ready and trying to find the staff. And I did the menu the week before we opened. I was
Yeah.
like, I'd spoke to a guy because we had all the pottery and crockery and stuff designed
Yeah.
by a guy down in South Wales. So we handmade all the bowls and that. And when I was speaking to him, he was like, so what's your menu? And I just drew all these images of bowls that I wanted and plates. And I was like, just make them. I was like, I'll do the menu. And the restaurant's opened. Because one thing that I always know is, you know, we know that the restaurants that we're doing, we're cooking good food, and we're using the best ingredients, and we can cook. And the guys that I'm employing and I've got working with us, they're all great cooks as well. But I still don't believe that a lot of people go, yeah, it's all about the food. No. I also think it's all about the environment that you sat in as well. So one big thing for us is and Sam, we make sure that the environments that people are sat in are aesthetically pleasing. Because in this day and age, you need them to be aesthetically pleasing. And
they'll do your social media for you because they'll stick it on Instagram because it looks nice.
So, I mean,
next thing you know,
straight away, people go, bloody hell, them tops cost you a fortune. They did, but the power of social media when somebody videos a pan boiling on a table, essentially, doesn't look like it's got a cook underneath it. I'm done there, aren't I? I'm done straight away. That's what sets us apart from being unique. So we always kind of come up with the concept of how the restaurant's going to look, and then, we know that we're going to cook good food. So, we opened within the first 2 months we were in the Michelin Guide. Then on month 3 we got awarded 3 rosettes, which was
kind of a running theme. Most of our restaurants seem to be assessed within the first 8 weeks.
Yeah, and then
we've opened another place. Let's go and check it out.
And then we did. Then obviously Oxton opened, and then Oxton got on the Michelin Guide within 2 months, and then that's because they're all relatively still new, these restaurants, aren't they?
Don't realise how much you've done in such a short space of time.
Yeah,
really.
sure. So then we did that, and then Oxton opened, and then it came to the end of that year, and then it went to 2024. So that was the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. Then we found a site in Sutton Park, just outside Lichfield, called the Bracebridge, which is a pub. So we were like, we'll throw our hand at a pub. It's in the middle of a national park. So you're always going to get you're always going to get tourists down there.
I've got family down there. So.
Absolutely beautiful down there. So we opened that, and we've done essentially like a lovely pub overlooking a lake.
Nice.
And then
no tasting menu there though.
No tasting menu. No. God, that'd be carnage.
On a Saturday when you get about 580 people around.
Do you know what though, right?
Really
we always say like that is we opened 8 in these places to be like for us it's like an easy, like you open a restaurant, you serve amazing food, do great service, you've got a key core team of really, really well qualified people that can execute the job and they're passionate about it. When you open something big, it just opens a wormhole of shit. So it's very difficult to employ lots of staff that are as passionate as you maybe are and try and give them the same philosophy and all work towards the same thing. So, the pub does really, really well. Of course it does. It's in the middle of a park and it's bloody busy all the time.
Yeah.
But God,
very different challenges to other places.
The pub's back to that Monday. Doris said that she didn't like the napkins and she thought that the walk down to the pub was a little bit bumpy because there was a pothole. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah,
that sort of
everything.
Yeah, everything's a
I don't think we're going to go to the booking that we made because the weather's not quite right or the trees are blowing in the wrong direction. You're like, so. It brings a different set of challenges.
Different set of challenges, which
we kind of laugh at most of the time now.
So how long have you had that pub then? Was that
we opened it in March.
March 24.
Yeah, March 24.
That wasn't your last opening though, because you then went on to...
No, because while we were messing around with that pub, trying to get it where we wanted it.
The pub opened, and then I actually live in North Wales, so it's I love living up there, and then I travel to Liverpool, and and I couldn't just travel to all the restaurants anyway. And in the village that I live in North Wales in Prestatyn, this clothes shop came up on the high street.
Right.
And I was like, no way. I was like, I want to open a restaurant in there. And the reason I wanted to open a restaurant there, because there wasn't the sort of restaurants that we do. Didn't want to do a taste menu. Didn't want to do like a break. I wanted to do like the same sort of philosophy that we've got in 8. Amazing quality ingredients, great wine list, great service, but in a place that's... it's not exactly a food central hub.
Of course.
People travel to Liverpool, Manchester,
all over the world,
just to go for a night out or go for dinner because there's literally nothing up that whole coast. You've got a place that's a little bit further up in Colwyn Bay. You've got like Bryn Williams, and then you've got like Llandudno and all these sorts of like places, but they're all really, really far spread out. So I was like, I'll open one in the village. Still got quite a large population. But
what's the village called?
Prestatyn.
Oh, you're in
North
Prestatyn.
Wales.
Sorry,
So people are always saying, "Oh, we never go out to eat. There's nowhere nice. You can't even get a glass of champagne. You can't get this." So I was like, "I'm going to open a restaurant." So I said to my miss, "I'm going to take over that clothes shop." And she's like, "What? I'm going to open a restaurant?" So it sounds like, mate, it's in a clothes shop. doesn't look like a restaurant.
Let's do it.
The building's stunning. It's got like big old-fashioned like Victorian windows and stuff.
High ceilings.
Really high
Nice.
ceilings.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, it's probably not the right timing because we probably haven't got loads of money hanging around in the bank, but we'll rip it all out
Just doing the
ourselves.
pub.
Yeah, just
We'll
a
rip it all
massive
out
pub.
ourselves and we'll get it
Do it.
back into ours.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We took over the clothes shop. We smashed all the walls down. Cladded all the thing, built the bar. I was a labourer for a contractor that we had there because we were just trying to save costs.
Scrapped it,
Yeah, I was doing all the grouting, all the tiling on YouTube and all that crap. And then we got the restaurant open. The restaurant opened the end of August, and it's been a roaring success. Like there's, you know, I put Wagyu beef on, A5 Japanese Wagyu beef on in Prestatyn, North Wales. First weekend sold out.
Really?
Everyone's like, you ain't going to sell that here. I'm like, I will. When people come and
I
they
didn't realise
order,
it all had been open 4 or 5 months.
yeah, when people come and they
Fair
order,
enough.
like, you know, truffle fries, like, is that real truffle you grain on that? I'm like, yeah, it is. It's not
not
truffle
oil.
oil.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
like, it's real
spray,
truffle.
right? Yeah.
So, like, just like the whole philosophy of let's do amazing food, but I wanted it to be a place where, to be honest, I opened it because, you know, I like going out on a Sunday with my kids because it's usually when I'm off. I opened it because I wanted somewhere decent to go for a Sunday lunch. So I was like, we'll open this and we'll do like a banging Sunday lunch because we cook on fire there. So when you go there, you have like a whole rib of beef and we cook it on the fire.
Yeah.
And, you know, all your Sunday roast and that's all like fresh, done there in front of you, crispy cabbages on the fire and everything. It's just really nice. And then 2 weeks ago we got the Michelin guide there.
Yeah,
so
I've seen that building.
every single restaurant that we're doing now.
Following that same formula, isn't it? Like, it's you.
Well, you said in the first quarter, every restaurant that we've opened in the last year and a half, straight away in the Michelin guide, straight away in AA, and like, we're doing really well. I mean, Liverpool, you know, we're the only 3 rosette restaurant in the whole Liverpool.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We're the only 3 rosette restaurant in the
Right,
whole
okay.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Been open 3 months.
Fair play.
3 months. But do you know what the funny thing is? When they got, years ago, do you know, because I'm passionate about it, because it's actually my business as well now.
Yeah.
It's not just
Of course. No, it's
you're
working for somebody
someone.
else. Yeah.
But I do find like I feel a lot more confident because
Right,
when you're
okay.
working for somebody else and you've got an idea, and then you say to that person, "Oh, this would work and that'd work," and they go, "Yeah,
You've got to
whatever.
convince them.
Yeah, you're the chef. It's nothing to do with you." Mine and Sam's relationship's never been like that. It's like, oh, we'll sink the toilets out. I think the toilets would be better if we painted in that colour and the mirrors look like that. And, you know, little touches like, oh, let's get his and hers aftershave in the toilets. And, do you know, actually make it an actual special experience for people when they actually come.
Yeah.
All the things everyone else do, I'm not spending money on aftershave, but if I'm in the toilet, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're not, because that's what your fucking restaurant's dead. Because you've got no passion, you don't give a shit, mate. I'm like, it doesn't matter whether you're doing burgers and chips in the pub. All these things matter to me.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, is there an umbrella at the door when it's pissing down outside for a customer to walk? Do you know, just like the little
Just little
touches
details,
that
yeah, of
nobody else really thinks about.
We
You know,
say that the restaurants, the mark of the success is how someone feels when they leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do they remember it?
Yeah.
You know, because good food, yeah, you know, there's plenty of good food around.
Yeah.
Plenty of good food around, but how do you feel about that place when you
And you remember
leave?
it. What's
You
your
know,
memory of it?
We
Yeah.
eat out all over the world.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we go, and you'll see that from our social. We go out and we do that to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the places where you go, you'd think, you know, what have we taken, you know, from that? You know, some of the most prestigious restaurants in the world, we learn very little from. And then some of the other ones, we went to Dubai, you know, for my birthday only last year, we went to a restaurant that's pretty well known now called the Farley Brothers, and a big one at the time. On the way there, we realised they don't sell alcohol.
Right.
And everyone in the car was like, "What? They don't sell alcohol." But they
bear in mind, my missus loves a drink.
so it's or 4 or 5. And so she was mortified. But when we arrived, they had created a drinks menu that gave you the impression you were drinking champagne,
Yeah.
but you weren't.
Yeah.
And of course, that's their culture.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, it's all part of the
you have to
experience, isn't it?
respect
Yeah,
that. But that was the most memorable meal that we had. Wow. And I mean, we ate
Yeah.
in some special places. We ate in Royal 145, which just got 2 stars.
yeah, of course.
And it was exceptional.
Yeah.
But we also learnt as much from the Bib Gourmand meal. Where
But it's like little
when we
touches,
were
like
out,
when we got, I mean, in one place where we went, I drove straight away there, you know, and you look and you're like, the lads will say when I go back to work, they're like, oh, what was the meal like? And I was like, I can't really remember a lot of it, mate. The bill was
Yeah.
massive. I can't really remember a lot. But tell you what I did notice, when you ordered still and sparkling water, if you ordered still water, you got your glass. But when you ordered sparkling water, they put a coaster underneath. And they're like, oh, why have they done that? So when the
So
waiter
always
comes
remember.
over, you can remember which one to pour it in. So it's like, do you know, like tiny little things.
yeah.
And like, oh, so we'll start doing that here, do you know?
So you never
sometimes
forget then, yep.
You'll never forget, or the guys will go, what's she having? She's having sparkling. You go, yeah, there was sparkling. Like, it's like little things
cuts
you'll
that out,
take
yeah.
away from like going. I think it's really, really important for people to like go out and just eat. It might even be like, you know, you might go for a bloody burger and you'll see something, you're like, oh, I've seen that
Can
seed
use
or
that, yeah.
that little thing. And that is kind of what we do. But like,
And
it's
learning quick
hard.
by the sounds of things. Like
Yeah,
implementing
Also,
things
it's hard
quickly and
when you're in the industry and you're that side of the pass,
Yeah.
excuse the pun, it's sometimes hard to get a customer's perspective on things.
yeah.
So more and more, it's slightly easier for me than it is Andy, because I have the experience tend to go to the restaurants and sit on the other side of the bar, haven't I? But you know, I think it's really important that you kind of get that, because it's really difficult otherwise, because you kind of see it in this one-dimensional view.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about our company now. It's not just me and Andy. I know we are the faces of it, but we've got real structure now, and we're adding people to that business.
Oh, 100%.
I've got completely different perspective on things, because we need to be challenged
definitely.
as much
Yeah, 100%.
as anyone
I
else.
think for us, it's probably, you know, because we'll go into a site and we'll go, oh, we'll do that, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. Like we've implemented people in there. It's like stuff that we maybe miss. I'll go into a site and I'll spend 6 months there into the new sites, and I'll be like, right, guys, we check the toilets, we do this, this is how we're doing the food, that, and that. Sometimes it's very, very difficult then, because you're just embedded in that site for 6 months. What's happening to the other site?
Yeah.
You know, you need to carry on. So we've started to put like things in place now where we have people that can actually help us, because before it's like me and Sam doing the social media,
Doing
me and
everything,
Sam
yeah.
doing the marketing, me and Sam doing the budgets every week, me and Sam
And that's the
doing
big,
menus,
the big thing for White now is, how do you keep that those standards across all your sites now?
It's people.
People.
It's people, and the one thing that we have done is, you know, all the main guys, so like the guys that have been with us for years, you know, we've got a big philosophy, and I always say it because I got shit on in kitchen so much,
Yeah.
is I don't want it to be, I want these guys to work with us and it's their business as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we did a thing this year where it's like the guys that work for us start to become shareholders with us as
Yeah.
well. So it's actually their
Nice.
business too. So they actually
Yeah.
care. So the guys that are with us, and when we're growing, they're growing too. Because there's nothing, you know, there's going to come a point for everybody, isn't there, in a career where they go, oh, you can only go so far
Yeah,
with the
ready for
salary.
something else, yeah.
You can only go, and then they go, do you know what, mate, I'm going to go. But imagine it's not. It's like, we're growing, and you're actually growing with us. It isn't just a case of, here you go, mate.
Yeah.
That's your wages. It's like, no, you own a bit of the business as well.
Yeah, nice.
So you actually care. So I know then when I'm not there.
And then a lot of this is still some of your team that you brought up from your...
Yeah, well, I'm 37 now. Like, one of them, like, two of them actually I've been working with since I was 20.
Yeah, nice.
21.
Class.
And they,
Yeah.
the greatest testimony to that is that, you know, they're not chefs anymore, they're restaurateurs.
Yeah.
They're running their restaurant. They're the face of their restaurant. You know, I know it's got our kind of name on it sometimes, everything else.
Do you know what the nice
Or
thing-
it's them.
As a chef, when you flip between places and going to work for people have always got an idea in their head of what they want the concept to be. And they'll go, oh, you know, we want to do a taster menu on a Friday, and then we want to serve fish and chips alongside it, and then we'll do a kebab alongside it as well. Do you know, because, you know, Jerry comes into the pub, he likes a kebab, and she likes a taster menu, and you're just like, fucking hell, I'm never going to get known for anything here. Can have 3 taster menu on 14 burgers and 19 doner kebabs. You know, so you can imagine the quality control, can't you? I
brilliant.
think what's really nice is, because when we open a restaurant, we come up with a concept, like Dishes, for instance. Dishes was a concept that was loads of small plates, but if you wanted to build a tasting menu for yourself, you could.
Yeah.
But it's sharing stuff, so you can go in there and you can have an half a kilo steak if you want.
Right.
Have half a kilo wagon.
Yeah.
Have half a kilo of pork chop.
Yeah.
You can have it, you know, but it's also got the luxury stuff like lovely hand-dyed scallops.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do serve great ingredients with something as simple as a chip, like actually freshly grated truffle, and that was our philosophy there. But one thing that I always have is with the head chefs when they're in there, like Jake and Sam and Gigi and Liverpool and Nate, I know the only way to grow is to also let people have freedom
Yeah, of course.
and actually have a voice. There's nothing worse than going to work for somebody and you go in and you just cook their food all the time. Because I'm telling you now, the guy that's the commie chef can sometimes have a good idea as
Yeah.
well. And it pisses me off when chefs go, our industry's on its arse at the minute. Nobody wants to work for anybody. No. They don't want to work for you because you're a fucking arsehole with a massive ego, and it's boring. They're coming in, cooking your shit every day, and you never ever give them a voice. You never give them a voice. You don't listen to their opinion. You never give them a chance. And that's not me saying that it's a fucking free-for-all in our restaurants, you know, and I've got sea bass with white chocolate sauce on because the commie chef thought it'd look nice. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that when people work for us for a period of time, I actually start to, you know, give them a little bit of free rein too, because their personality, when that comes out, it betters our product.
Yeah, reflects everything.
100%, mate. And not only that, imagine you come to 8, right? And you have an amazing tasting menu at 8. And then you go to OXA and you have a tasting menu there and it's the same as fucking 8 because I've done the menu. And then you go to Black and Green, it's the same as the fucking 8 at OXA. You're a bit like,
Pointless,
wow.
isn't it?
So you're doing copying and pasting.
Come
You could go to
sit by
every
Nico then,
single...
don't you?
Yeah, mate. It is.
Yeah,
6
ain't
by
my
Sheridan. I'm like, you could go to any of them
Not swear on the
restaurants.
podcast.
Yeah. Oh, bad for me, mate. You could go to any of them restaurants and you'll have a different meal.
Yeah.
In all of them.
Nice.
And I like the fact that I can go to, say, an Oxton tonight and I'll go, well, Jake, what are you putting in bread, mate? That's banging.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love it.
I love it.
Class.
You know,
I ate in Black and Green the other day, and we've got a relatively new chef there, Darren. You know, and he's got great pedigree and everything else. We could see his stamp on it.
100%.
Already.
And we're
Yeah,
like,
cool.
that's really good. Really enjoyed that.
Love it.
You know.
Yeah, you know, I was speaking to Gigi on the way down, who's the head chef over in Liverpool. And I'm like, oh, what you got on? And he's like, oh, I've put a couple of new dishes on, mate. I've got this on, that on, that on. And don't get me wrong, like, he's got an amazing background as well. He was like Law Hall. And he was head chef at Raby Hunt and all these places. But I just feel that to grow as an individual, like, it took me a long time. He used to say to me, mate, you're getting paid a lot of fucking money to peel onions. Oh, what do you mean? He's like, what use to me and growing this business are you if you're in the kitchen peeling the onions? He's like, you know, we're employing people to do it. And I used to be that thing. I used to be like, oh, I'm going to go and see
Control over
I'm going to go,
everything,
no, it wasn't even control. I used to feel guilty. I used to feel guilty
because you work.
because I wasn't there with the
I
lads.
get you.
And I used to think they'd think, lazy bastard.
Yeah.
He's pissing off to go and have a look at another site. He's going on a jolly and getting a little hamburger on the way there and a milkshake and then coming back and going, rough day today, lads, you know. And I'm like, I actually, I used to say to them all the time, you know, I'd be saying, oh, can we give such and such a pay rise? They'd be like, mate, they've just had one. I know, but you know, because they do a little bit more now because I'm not there. And he's like, yeah, but the business is growing. But because I've been, you know, in that world so much as the chef that's not appreciated, I really, really want the guys that work for
It's
us
finding that
to
balance,
feel
isn't it? It's finding that balance.
Yeah, massively. But I know just as, well, a restaurateur now, not a chef.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
know now that if I hadn't done when Tom was saying stop peeling the fucking onions and give him a little bit of scope and let him come up with something because that's what he's getting paid to do, we wouldn't have all these restaurants now because he'd be going, mate, you're still stuck in Black and Green. What are you doing there? We need to open another one. I'd be going, oh, can't do that, mate. Got a taster on tonight. So it is nice now the restaurants have grown and it's made me grow and the chefs have
And
grown
in a short
in it
space
as well.
of time. So, what, you 2019 you met and now 5 years later?
Yeah,
How many,
I mean,
how many
we-
premises you got
Yeah,
overall?
we arguably spent 4 years messing around in Birmingham, really.
Well, there you go,
I mean, this is really kicked into gear from March 2023.
Yeah.
That's really where it's kicked into gear. And there's many testimonies to that. You know, it's, you know, myself, Andy and Emma predominantly control the business from the director level. But, you know, we've had to bring, you know, support mechanisms into that. We've got, you know, other shareholders in the business. They have their influence. They've added not just, you know, capital, but they've added rigour.
Yeah.
They've made us grow up.
Yeah.
You know, as a business. And that's all important for survival nowadays. You know, many restaurants have been kind of lifestyle businesses born off the personality of the individual that leads them.
Yeah.
And there's so much in that needs to be harnessed. But at the same time, the industry also in that side needs to grow up and needs to appreciate that actually running a business in, you know, 2024 goes to 2025 is challenging.
Massive.
Yeah. There's all these different things, be it the government, be it all these different, you know, aspects that you've got to try and manage. And I feel for anyone that kind of has to do that on their own, that's lonely. I wouldn't want to do it on my own. I couldn't do this without Andy, and equally, he probably wouldn't want to do it, you know, without me, because I deal with all the boring crap that no one really wants
I
to
also
deal with.
think as well, it's such a hard industry. It's nice to have somebody to, you know,
bounce off and to
to
work and
bounce off.
support as well. And
Yeah, and when you're in the shit, you're not on your own, are you?
yeah, exactly.
You've got somebody that you can go, oh, mate.
Never is there an industry like hospitality where someone has an opinion on how you should run your business every single day. Like, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If you have a shop in retail, you don't have that. If you're a plumber with a gas company or whatever, you don't have
Everyone's a
that.
food critic now.
Yeah.
Everyone's literally everyone's a food critic.
Everyone is a
And it
food
is
critic. And do you know what?
Demoralising.
I think for
Look at me
me,
thinking I can host a podcast now. I'm a food critic. you know,
Champagne expert. Actually, a sommelier.
I think the one thing is, like, and I've always been dead stern on this, is the fucking customer's not always right.
Yeah.
That is the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And I'll stick by that. If I believe that we're doing an amazing job and the staff are all working hard, you know, I had it not long ago, didn't I? A customer comes into the restaurant, like, we don't like it in here, we don't like how it's decorated. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't give a fuck. And they go, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, when I walk into your house and say, by the way, your kids are ugly and I don't like your wallpaper. You know, but you can walk into my restaurant and say, I don't like it, don't like the toilets, don't like the
said,
cookery.
everyone's a critic.
And it is one of them
Straight on
industries.
to TripAdvisor.
Yeah,
straight on to Google.
it's one of them industries now where people think they're so opinionated. I mean, I've just opened up, like, arguably where I live, and I always go, fucking hell, why did I do that? Because I don't want to be going around Tesco's on a Saturday morning.
Someone, giving you
And
shit because
somebody
they don't like your
But no,
restaurant.
but do you know what it is now?
It's hilarious.
It's usually people that you kind of know. So the worst thing is you'll get a message, you're like, 11 o'clock at night, books a table of 2 in for Friday. Cheers. And you're like, who is it? At what fucking time? Have you got any diet? I'm like, oh, yeah, mate, just here's the link. Just book online.
book on there.
Like every
So
normal.
we know.
Oh, can't you do it? And you're like, no, I can't, mate. Because if with all the other restaurants that we had, if that happens to me all the time, I may as well just open up
Imagine
being
how pissed off in
reservations.
front of us, you're going to be you just say, I've got to tell you what's in for nine, mate.
And trust
Fucking
me,
what?
you wouldn't want Andy in reservations.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want me in
Diet treats?
reservations.
So every place, without losing track or losing count, so how many, you got 5?
Yeah, and then we've got
7.
we've got
Right.
Yeah.
the Garrity, which is across the road from Black and Green, which is a coffee shop basically.
Right, okay.
Coffee
Nice.
shop, brunch shop, isn't it?
Yeah, and that came about. So I mean, I knew how the guy felt. He was a mate of ours, and he owned a barber shop, and that was pretty successful.
Yeah.
And he thought, I know what I want to do. I want to open a kind of coffee shop, brunch place, stroke tap room,
Right,
in
yeah.
a couple of doors down. And he got into it, and within about 3 months, he realised that hospitality was hell on earth. And
Not for me.
decided to reverse out of it, and we kind of went, yeah, all right, mate, we'll buy it off of you. It's across the road from Black and Green. It's
Yeah.
a good place to go for clean drinks.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice little,
and it's like a little tap room, nice local beers, and you know you can go in there and get
Makes
a
sense.
BLT.
Makes
and
sense, yeah.
It's the coffee place where the mums go in the morning after they drop the kids off, and then you've got Sip and
Multi-revenue
Slice.
streams, aren't you? It's
Sip
not
and
just-
Slice, which is next to the Bracebridge. So that's a little coffee hut that we've got
Sip
by a
and
lake.
Slice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that place is just a machine, isn't it? I mean, that can do 300-400 people a day doing coffees and tea.
Yeah. So basically, that kind of forms part of the Bracebridge. They're kind of on the same site. And as you walk down to Bracebridge Lake, Sip and Slice on the right hand side and the pub's on the left. And what we've kind of done is adapted the barns to be doing sort of casual kind of grab and go food, coffee, that kind of thing. It's not a core. I say it's not a core part of our operation. It probably well is.
As far as the revenue's
I
concerned.
mean, it's got one member of staff.
Yeah,
It's a hut.
Well,
but it works.
Because it's in the middle of a bar.
Nice.
You know, everybody wants
it'll
a
do
coffee.
it'll do as much as
Love
a
it.
major
Brilliant.
restaurant. So it's
Why-
definitely a focused part of our
Makes sense,
of
yeah.
what we do. But Sip and Slice and the Bracebridge kind of form one really.
Yep.
They're like kind of one core team. One
Yeah.
general manager looks after it. Mark's got the enviable job of running the Bracebridge site with Sam Smith. So yeah, it's a definite challenge there, because what you've got is, you know, if you imagine on a Saturday, it's about 3,500 people verge on the Bracebridge on a Saturday, and they're all from different walks of life.
Yeah,
So they all want different things.
yeah, of course.
So that's
You've got them all now.
difficult. Yeah. But you know, the other sites, they're kind of well-oiled
Yeah,
kind of
of
machines
course.
doing their thing, same thing every day. And restaurants are really good when they're consistent.
Yeah,
They do the same thing every single day.
Do very well.
It's their rhythm.
I think the one thing about us is, and what we've kind of learned is, the more that we've opened, having multiples has major benefits.
Yeah, strengthen what you're trying to
Because
achieve.
if,
Yeah.
say for instance, let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool in the summer, notoriously trade dies off because people go away,
People,
they leave
yeah.
the city. But where do they go? They go to the seaside. Statins, the seaside.
Yeah.
So we get customers from Liverpool that will go there to their caravans and places like that, and then they'll go to our restaurant there. Same with the Bracebridge. That is going to be heaving in the summer because you're right by a lake, so people get the picnics out. So you have like peaks and troughs. But
Yeah.
because we've got so many different locations, they all
Balance
help each other
out throughout the year.
at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So where it becomes more difficult, and I don't envy any of the ones that like sole restaurants. That's where it's really hard, because if you get hit for 2 months, like January, February, March,
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
it's bloody tough because you've got one restaurant, you still got to keep all the staff. We're lucky because we run really, really small teams, like really small teams. Apart from the Bracebridge, you're talking like 2 chefs in each site, front house. So our payroll's really low. We're choosing smaller premises because there's less people in there. So obviously you've got low rent as well.
But your rent in Prestat is not massive, is it?
No, mate, no. Tiny, mate.
But the guys that we take our hat off to, also landlords like the 8 landlords, the company, Braithwaite family, Luke and Josh. If it wasn't for them having faith in us and helping us at the beginning of it would have been far more tougher.
Yeah.
They
Building
really
those
wanted
partnerships
a great...
early doors, isn't it?
Yeah,
The amount of people I speak to say finding a good landlord is key to everything.
We saw an interview on Bloomberg with Jason Atherton, and
of course.
arguably he's probably one of the best operators out there.
Well, he's had a massive change very recently, hasn't he?
But
Yeah.
one of the things he mentioned was about landlords, and there's a lot of deluded landlords out there.
I mean, we went to a site yesterday, and
Atherton's.
No. We went to see another site.
Oh, sorry.
To
Sorry.
open another restaurant.
Another one.
And that's a classic case scenario of a landlord not understanding the industry. They built this premises for a coffee shop. It's hardly got any covers in there. You can maybe do 25 covers in there max. You've got massive constraints because the ceiling's too low to get extraction and stuff in there. So that's really going to be really difficult. But then the problem is they want £30,000 a year rent for a premises that was
probably only trade 6 months a year.
that trade 6 months a year.
Because of its position.
And then they've got the figures that they're actually showing you. Well, they were lucky whether they were doing £2.5 grand, £3 grand a week when they were open. So when you throw staff in the mix, produce in the mix,
Non-star, isn't it?
and that massive rent in a location like a Cornwall that's only open 6 months a year, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's just never ever going to go anywhere, and there's no budge. Like, no, that's what we want.
That's what they
And
want.
you're like, well, it's already been on the market for a year. It's probably going to be on the market for another 50 years because nobody in their right mind, unless they are seriously delusional, they've never worked in the industry before,
In which case they're going to
going
go
to
bust.
take it.
Yeah.
And they're going to go bust. And then you're going to be back to square
No,
one.
100%. Find that. I think it was a similar clip actually with Jason Atherton.
Yeah.
I'm talking about landlords and the importance of it. Obviously, he's had a massive change, hasn't he, in this group?
He's just completely ripped up the
Completely.
side all over.
Yeah.
Crazy.
100%.
I see like 3 or 4 in like
Yeah.
one side.
And you know what? I mean, me and Andy, we're like, he's going some. And
I went to Raw
that's
5
brilliant.
to hand deliver a couple of bottles of wine actually, and like it was 2 days before opening. It's like, how the fuck are you going to open in 2 days?
we were due to dine there. We were due to dine there because we dined in row 145 and then they invited
of course,
us to dine on the opening night and then rung us in the afternoon and they couldn't open, bless them. And we knew how that felt.
Yeah.
We had to go somewhere else for dinner in the end. We ended up at the Dorchester, which was lovely. But we knew exactly what they were going for.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And what a place. And I've seen it now, like flipping out.
And look, if it's any row 145 and straight at 2-star,
Yeah.
and it probably
He's got Spencer at the
you
front, and so he's going to
the only
do well.
question is whether or not it will be Dubai's first 3-star. Obviously, Franzen's now opened with next week.
Yeah.
Next week. Yeah. So there'll be a toss up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's both of them.
Maybe it's both. We'll see. We'll see.
And because it was remarkable.
Yeah.
Row 145. So floor 5 is just as good.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Well, to sort of round up on with you guys. So what I want to do is I'm going to pour you another glass because I see you've got an empty glass, and that's very poor of me for not to give you another little tipple. However, what I'm going to do, I'm going to name each of your restaurants, and I want you to give me a one-word answer each on that restaurant. All right? So I'm going to have a think.
I might upset the staff.
Have a think quickly. So I'm going to pour you a quick glass.
Cheers, mate.
Actually,
Who's driving?
well, I'm
You're not.
Yeah.
I'll be alright.
You got a driver, haven't you?
Yeah, I haven't. I'll be alright.
Alex
Driving drive. No.
looks after. He's
Alex is with us. He's because we went to go and have a look at the other site,
and then we've tipped across
right,
the top
okay,
coast,
brilliant.
and then we're going back to Worcestershire. So
All right, so you're sorted.
he's
No stress.
In Cheltenham tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have a look at the
in
site,
Cheltenham tomorrow.
Very nice.
Which I think
could be site number.
No, right.
I've learned now that not to make judgment until I walk through
We
the
shall
door.
see. Love it.
yeah,
Right, quick fire then. Don't think about it too much. We can edit it out if you're not happy with your answers.
yeah.
Okay, ready? If I pronounce it
Who
wrong,
wants to go
apologise.
first? Do you want to
I'll
do
go
one and
first.
No,
one?
we'll go Sam first and we'll go Andrew
Yeah.
straight after. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Dishes.
Epic.
Oh, me dishes as well.
Yeah, same one. Same one.
Oh, same.
They can't even say, can't be same.
Second.
You can have
Second.
the epic. I'd actually say it's like refined comfort food.
Right.
Yeah, I'll use that. Comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah,
comfort.
Right,
Refined
like it.
comfort food.
Right, next, the Garrity.
The Garrity, great village vibe.
One word.
What
isn't
long word that, but we'll let you off. Vibe.
it? Coffee.
Coffee.
Banging coffee.
Oxa or OXA.
Neighbourhood dining. Yeah.
Bread.
Bread.
Oh, the bread.
Nice. Got a good bread dish. Bracebridge.
Busy.
Difficult. Challenging.
Black and green.
That's where my heart is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Home.
Yeah.
Small.
Small.
Really small.
Yeah.
Sip and slice.
Machine.
Money.
Money. And then to finish, 8.
Flagship.
Home.
Home for you. Love it. Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Absolute pleasure to do that with you. So before we finish, we have our usual feature on the podcast, Cellar 101. All right, I'm going to give you a go each.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got the opportunity now to try and convince me, Room 101 style, to play something into the depth of the dungeons of Cellar 101.
Yeah.
I may or may not agree with you. I may agree with you and then just play devil's advocate because it's might get a few clicks on socials. So
Yeah.
let's.
Go on, mate. You go first.
So Cellar 101. Sam, what are you going to try and throw in?
Large wine menus.
Large wine menus.
Bibles.
This is going to be fun.
Fat duck style.
Fat
Bring
duck
out the
style.
manual.
I
Looks
agree.
like
Right.
looks like the yellow pages.
Okay, so for me, my political hat and my business hat would say, yeah, bang on. However, I think the issue with wine lists isn't necessarily the size. I think it's the way that they are presented,
And structured.
how they're structured, how they're delivered. So for me, I always think about coffee. So I think about, 15, 20 years ago, no one had a clue what a frappuccino, latte, cappuccino, decaf, all this sort of stuff was. And you would look at a menu like that and no one would have a clue.
Yeah.
However, now people can go into a coffee store and they know what a cortado is, they know what a flat white is, and it's visual, and you can see it, and you can see the difference, and you can feel it when you're in, and the staff are knowledgeable, and everybody knows about it. However, give somebody a wine list, and it says Chenin Blanc. Like, what the fuck's that? Is it a grape? Is it a region? What is it? Nobody knows unless you're in the industry.
But how many
can
bottles
you-
of Chardonnay do we need on the menu?
Correct.
You know, before we get to the point of
The thing, where my feeling
kind of
is,
vanity over sanity.
Do you know what I mean?
like,
What is it?
if you went into a restaurant with your missus and you were like, I'm taking you out for a nice meal, and when there's the menu and it was a fucking book,
Yeah.
you're going to go, fucking hell off. It's not going to be great here. Right? there's too much choice. I can't fucking decide what
Choice
I want.
paralysis, isn't it? Yeah.
With a wine menu,
You're ordering one.
I feel that when there's too much choice, in the end, the customer just will always automatically just go, fucking revert back to
Reverse
that.
type, correct. Yeah.
100%. I
Or the
very
flip side,
rarely.
very nervously ask the sommelier, but then
Yeah.
you're scared, or the wine waiter, you're scared of actually they're just going to give me the one with the biggest markup, or they're just gonna whatever.
Yeah, but also, like, just think about it from a business point of view here for a minute, from the restaurant's point of view. They're carrying that inventory, they're carrying that stock, which is effectively swallowing their cash flow, vital cash flow when they first open a restaurant.
Yep.
And I question whether it's needed. And the reason why I question whether it's needed, and this is coming from the guy that wanted 120 things on the menu when he first opened a restaurant because he believed that the right thing was to give customer choice.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I do believe that there's choice. Yeah, we've got menus, wine menus, of course we have. But actually, I don't think any one of our restaurants has got more than 32 bowls to choose from. Okay? So,
In terms of
choice. Stews. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So there's no more than 32.
Right, yeah.
No more than 32 in 8. No more than that in dishes. No more than that in black and green.
Well, I'll tell you now, in
We don't
8,
suffer with that.
in 8, we have 5 reds, 5 whites, 3 champagnes, 2 rosés.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we really need the wine menu? And I use the fact that because I always remember it.
Yeah.
Because I went there for my birthday for dinner and they brought a wine menu out and it just reminded me of the Yellow Pages from 1988.
You don't know what to do with it,
And
do
it was
you?
like
Well,
that
no,
fat.
right.
I mean, I struggled to carry it.
Prime example, mate. We went to Dinner by Heston in London.
Yeah.
Asked for the wine menu. It was like a fucking encyclopedia.
Yeah.
3 of the bottles that we chose, they didn't even have them in the cellar.
Yeah.
They didn't even have them. And then he ended up with a Riesling, which is what his go-to was.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are fundamental points of why restaurants don't have the working capital to survive bumpy months like you referred to. Yeah. Because they're in this kind of assumption that we need to have massive wine menus. So I have a problem with that from a business point of view. But I also have a problem with the hospitality sector has kind of made a rod for its own back with many things. Choices on menus is one of them. You know, we have huge menus, huge food menus, and Gordon Ramsay was renowned for ripping that up on, you know, on Restaurants from Hell, large, you know, wine menus.
Yeah.
And what's happened is that's become a customer expectation that actually the industry has tried to keep up with. Dietaries is another one of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I've only got one choice, but so it's the wine menu I'm going with. And I suppose it's controversial because we're here talking about wine. But I think that restaurants should have an identity.
Yeah.
They should have an identity in their food and they should replicate in their drinks menu. And I think that they should keep their drinks menu as lean, where possible, as their food menu, and they should just be good at that.
Bang on.
And I also believe that if the sommeliers in a lot of these establishments owned the restaurant and it was their money,
They won't be buying.
Yeah.
they would have that
They
money.
won't be
the
buying
biggest
bottles of
testament to that
Petrus
restaurant,
and...
and
Do
why
you know
I
what?
say it's fine.
There's no issue with having like a bottle of Petrus. Everything's got like its
Place.
place
of
on
course,
the menu, hasn't it? But I'm just talking, you know, if we're talking like you were saying, why do we need 19 different varieties of fucking Sauvignon Blanc?
Yeah.
14 different varieties.
I think where
of
I've experienced it, obviously,
champagne.
is within those places where there is maybe clientele that are going to come in and say, right, why have you not got this vintage, or why have you not got this
Well, we've
vintage?
got restaurants that have that clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our job to re-educate that clientele.
I just say I haven't
on
got it.
what we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the end of the world, is it?
Like this is and this is the greatest testimony to this is Black and Green. Okay?
Yeah.
So Black and Green only serves English and Welsh wine.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't sell champagne.
Yeah,
sorry, mate.
no, it's all right.
It sells English sparkling, and that restaurant has been there doing extremely well at nearly full capacity from day one. And yes, you get the odd person that might go, "I want it French." Well, you did, brilliant, absolutely great.
I also
There's
have
great
not
things
what
down
our
the road.
rest- that's not our
We're an
restaurant.
English and Welsh restaurant, and we're passionate about English and Welsh wine, and that's what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, absolutely no problem at all. That's your prerogative. You can go to Miller and Carter.
No, we have it. We have it in 8 as well.
Yeah.
You know, people go, we expected a large wine list because of the
That's
sort of
interesting. I wouldn't
restaurant
have
that
thought
you
that,
are.
you know. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, well, they do. They're like, because the establishment you are, we'd expect a
I-
larger wine list. And I'm just like, well, why is that my problem?
Yeah.
Then? You expected a larger wine list.
No, I-
See, actually, it's interesting.
It's like going for dinner, isn't it? And going,
Yeah.
I expected chicken, not venison.
So what's been the number one restaurant in the world for the last, 10 years? 10.
In the world.
In the world.
Noma. Right. So Noma,
What's
I went
happened to
there
them?
a year and a half ago. Well, right, I went there a year and a half ago, and my choice was this. You can have one menu, because it's the only menu we're doing.
Yep.
And you can either have a pairing that is non-alcoholic or a pairing that's alcoholic. We do not have a drinks menu.
Yep.
We do not have a wine menu, and we don't care whether you've got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah? There's £1,000 per person. Pay it. If you don't want to pay it, don't
Yeah.
come.
Of course.
It's number one restaurant in the world with no wine list. No, I'm not saying don't
He's
have a
not
wine
going to put
list.
it in.
Yeah.
He's not putting it in.
No.
there.
So the only thing that I agree with, like everything you're saying, 100%. And I'm coming at it from a consumer point of view as well, not from a business point of view. I'm thinking of clients that I work with that have these crazy wine lists, and they might buy 15 SKUs off me and 1 or 2 bottles of it, and they sit on the wine list for years because unless you hand sell them,
Do you need
it's pointless.
Bollinger and LP
It's pointless.
and Verve on the menu?
You don't
do
need
you
any
do
of
you
them.
need all three?
No,
you don't.
you
Do you?
don't go in the fucking
you don't,
bin.
'cause that tastes better.
With Prosecco.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with the wine, with the long, I think there's a time and a place for it. The only thing I'm thinking about is, this is me being a wine geek now and a champagne geek, but I've only ever experienced it in Champagne, where I get a fucking encyclopedia, and that is like my gold dust. It's like a kid in a candy shop, because I've got 50 pages of champagnes in Champagne to choose through. But if I go to a restaurant, if I go to one of your restaurants, I fucking hate it. I think it's not your soul, it's not your vibe. It doesn't. I think wine lists should be like tasting menus. You should have your core
Quality over
and then
quantity.
you should have your core parts of your menu, and then you have little plugins,
But also
and it can
needs to
adapt and
complement
change.
your menu, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And
Otherwise,
adapt
why
and
the hell are
change.
you-
What the hell are you doing with that? How many bottles of vodka do we need?
Yeah.
Where does that fit?
Because it
with
always
what
in
you're
the wine
eating?
industry, it always then feeds the mass market produce.
This is what happens to a lot of new restaurants that open as well. Do you know when they come up with their drinks menu
Yeah.
per se? Anyway, they go in and they're like, we need full fat Coke, Coke Zero, Diet
Yeah.
Coke. We need Fanta, Fanta Zero.
Yeah.
We need 9 different bottles of that. We need Guinness,
Crazy,
Peroni,
like,
Asahi, Heineken, all these things. And I'm like, no. We go into the restaurant, we get 2 lagers.
Yeah.
We have 1 cider.
Yeah.
I learned my
4
lessons.
whites. We don't have this range of nonsense.
When COVID hit, I had the displeasure of doing it.
Start tape.
Yeah.
From the previous bunker that I did at the start. We had 147 grams of holding stock.
What was I doing with that? What
Jeez.
am I doing with it?
Yeah.
Drinking it all?
Yeah.
The greatest word in the world? No.
No.
Like, it's mental. And these are the pressures,
Yeah.
you know, and the people that listen to this podcast, it could be consumers, it could be restaurateurs. From a restaurateur's point of view, and this is coming from someone who deals with money every
Yeah.
day, that's all I deal with, is don't give into it, and don't have a stupid wine list, because it will only put you under pressure.
Big wine lists. 100%. I think it's the most convinced I've been of going into Cellar 101. 100%.
Oh, sound. That's good, mate.
100%.
Thanks, all right.
Right.
The classical side of things, which is not me anyway. I don't give a shit about that side of stuff. But I can see where there's a time and a place for it sometimes. But like you said, doesn't make sense for the consumer, doesn't
Yeah.
make sense for the business owner, doesn't make sense for the restaurateur, doesn't fit the vibe of the restaurant. And I think they should be adapting and evolving all the time. I think they should be changing all the time. You should have that relationship with the producer that you can say, right, sometimes, yeah, I'm changing the vibe of the menu slightly to this, and this. Have you got anything that might suit? Yeah. Have you got good stock? Yeah. Okay. Right. We'll do it by the glass, or we'll list it for a bit longer. Whereas otherwise, you're stuck with the same crap that everyone else has got because they produce millions of bottles and they can service your need. So it's
See, that's why, you know,
Go back to Black and Greek, it's the classic example. I'm not professing that every one of our restaurants is an English and Welsh. That's the one that does it. But I know the personal story behind every single one of those vineyards. We've got a vineyard that comes from Grimsby.
Yeah.
And run by Bill and Linda.
Yeah,
Bill's a
brilliant.
fisherman and Linda's a school teacher.
Exactly.
And the vineyard's in their garden.
Yeah.
And they produce about 5,000 bottles a year, if that. You know,
100%.
That is what we sell.
What's
We
the
sell that
difference
personal
between
story.
provenance in your food to what's on your wine list? It should be exactly the same.
But also, I want to know where that pound's going.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So if one of my customers is spending
40, 50 quid on a bottle of wine. I can tell you about that 30, 50 quid turning.
Exactly.
I can't tell you when we had 65 middlemen in the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Between some vineyard in bloody New Zealand
Yeah, exactly.
and England. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Bang on. We're speaking on the same language, mate. So yeah, easy. Cellar 101, straight. Lock it up. Throw away the fucking cellar. That's it. Bang
fine,
him.
mate.
Right, follow that in, Andy, mate. What are you going for?
So do you know what mine is?
Go on.
Pet hate in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And it needs to be binned. Is cold bread and cold butter.
It's that. Can't even. I'm not even fucking bothering.
Fucking
Cold
honestly,
butter
mate.
is like the
I
worst thing
thought
in
you
the
were going to go
world.
with blue roll.
No.
I thought you were going to go
that-
with blue roll.
Cold bread,
That
cold butter.
sets
Wow.
the whole tone for
I'd
me.
leave.
When I go out for a meal and we go, would you like anything to start? We go, can we just get some bread? And they bring it over. They spend all this time making the bread. And the lazy bastards out front or in the kitchen, wherever it is, can't even be able to taking that butter out to room temp so it spreads nice. Now, they might give you hot bread, but if the cold butter's with it, it tears the shit out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if it's cold and cold, it's even worse, mate. That,
I'm supposed to be able to argue these
see you
things.
later, mate. That is a pet
Cold
hate
bread,
for me.
cold butter, long wine list. See you later.
Yeah.
Ta-ra, bye-bye. Done. Easy.
Very
Easy.
fair.
That's the easiest cellar 101 I've ever had.
Good.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, piece of piss, that, boys. Yeah, both in. Lock it up, throw away the key. Right. Steaks are on there, though. It's time for aperitif. Or aperitif. Enter theme tune here. We still need a theme tune. Right, I'm going to give you the same question each. Best of three.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, in fact, yeah. I'll let you both answer. I won't let you confer. So, best of three, big stakes, because the stakes are whoever wins gets the photo with the champagne. Whoever loses has to hold aperitif. So it's massive stakes, like
What if
massive.
you draw?
Best of three.
Okay.
Best of three. No draws allowed.
Now, shoot.
Right. Beer.
Bragging rights here, mate.
Right. Okay. So, and some of these are like loose terminologies. Some are translated. Some aren't.
There is
so,
a problem
like,
here, though.
it's not
An
a
actual
problem.
Wigan accent. This is
Well,
going to
this is
screw
it. You
this.
see. So.
This is going to screw
Maybe not.
this
Maybe
right
not.
up.
I could put on my franglais if you would like. I don't mind. Right, best of three. Pupit. Pupit.
What?
Spell it.
Spell it.
Pupitre. Pupit. Or pupite. Or pupitre. Could be anything. Is it aperitif, something to do with champagne, or a pair of teeth, something to do with dentistry? 3,
Dentistry.
2, 1.
Dentistry.
Dentistry. A pupit is actually the traditional A-frame rack, which is used for riddling champagne. So the old riddling rack that you see on an A, like that. There's probably people, some of my producers will listen to this and they go, how the fuck have you just said that? Pupit or whatever it is. Oh yeah, champagne.
Okay.
1-0 me. Get in. Right, question number 2. To save your stock. Right. Burs. B-U-R-S. Burs.
Dentistry.
Champagne and dentistry. If you said dentistry, Sam, you're still in the game. One apiece. Burs are small cutting tools used in dental drills for shaping teeth or fillings. Allegedly. Apparently. According to
Pure
ChatGPT.
guesswork.
Mate.
Pure guesswork. Right, your last one is going to be furcation. F-U-R-C-A-T-I-O-N.
Yeah, champagne.
Champagne. So it's one apiece between me and Sam. 2-0 to me and Andy. Sorry, boys. There's only one winner today. Furcation is the area where a toothed root divides, often a focus
No
in
way.
periodontal treatments.
What a nonsense game this is.
3-0, 2-1. And that has been Aperitif, boys. Thank you so
Brilliant.
much for joining us.
Did you work out my
Pleasure.
philosophy at the end?
What? Just
So-
mix and match.
No, so I worked out that if I basically went the same as Andy for the rest of the questions, I'd beat him.
Yeah, there you go. So you got one more point. So for first, Sam second, Andy third. There
No
we go.
worries.
That's been Aperitif, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. and log on to the next. I'm going to have to restart, aren't I? Because that was a fucking joke. I had 2 glasses of wine. I need a driver. Let's start again. This is the outro of Aperitif. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tune in to our next episode. That was a joke, my outro, by the way, boys. I've had too much fun. That was a pleasure. Cheers, guys.
Mate. Thanks.
And one more cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.